Well, hello, y'all. It is time to breathe again on the latest breath of fresh air. Shorty! It's been so long since I could say that we are coming on a shorty. I mean, long time. I mean, months. But it is great to be back on this forum. And I have an interesting topic for you, college football topic. Oh, by the way, this is Charles Taylor coming in with your shorty for today and for the first time in a few months. So, the college football topic that I wanted to discuss was more specific to the University of Colorado. Now, obviously, Patrick Brackett and I were going to do the college football preview and take a look at what is coming, or at least a format with the college football playoff. Ooh, excuse me. With the college football playoff going to 12 teams starting this season. So we will get more into those picks, who we have winning the conferences and who we think will be in the conference championship games. We'll have all that coming up tomorrow for our preview show. But with the University of Colorado, what we have is a situation where look, it looks toxic. Let's just put it that way. It looks toxic with Colorado and what Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, is trying to build there. Now, the opinions on the program, they're all over the map. Some people will tell you it's great what's happening in Colorado. Others will tell you that it is pretty toxic there. And there's a lot of just stuff in terms of players leaving in mass exodus. Now, you remember me coming on talking about how it was a good thing when Deion Sanders came in and basically said we're going to build this team up through the transfer portal. You had a couple of the recruits, his son who plays quarterback, Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter at the corner position, among others, coming with Deion to Colorado from Jackson State. But other than that, it was a lot of transfer portal work to try to build a roster, because the majority of the roster who was there based off of the 1-11 season, they were gone. And they were going to be gone because it was time to change. It was time to make some other things happen, because what was transpiring, it obviously wasn't working. If you had a 1-11 season, it was time to come in there with the pressure washer, the hazmat suits, get rid of the Gatorade bottles, the coolers, lockers, anything that had something to do with that 1-11 season. It was time to go. Clean it out, clean house, let's start over. But in going into year two, it does not look good for Colorado, and obviously we'll see what happens when they come on the field. Actually, I think they played Thursday night against North Dakota State, but it started off hot. They had the win over TCU, among other teams, to start off the season, and then it just went south from there. Oregon destroyed them. I think it was 42-6, if I remember right. And then it just plummeted from there, and Colorado won like 3 or 4 games. It's an improvement from what they were the year before, being at 1-11. But nah, 3-4 wins, that ain't gonna cut it. You're not even bowl eligible, and people, for better or for worse, they bought into the hype of what Deion was bringing, and some people thought they would actually win the Pac-12, actually make a run toward the national championship. I was not there, but I guess when you get into the hype machine, that's what you might think. I didn't see that happening, but we got to be positive, because we know we are positive on this webcast and the shorties. And it was an improvement from what they did the year before. So the question is, where do you go from there? Colorado, I don't think it's any secret. They are at a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to NIL, especially when you're comparing them to schools like Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, any of those schools, even like a school like Florida State or Clemson, or maybe even Florida in the SEC, Miami in the ACC. Colorado just doesn't have the advantages in terms of that pool like other schools would. So, on that note, this brings me to their former special teams coordinator, Trevor Riley, who resigned not too long ago. And apparently, he was trying to aid that NIL situation by first going to the Mormons, the Mormon community, and then to the Saudis. Out of all people, the Saudis. And we know the Saudis are loaded with money. So, look, there's no telling where the money is coming from when it comes to NIL. The boosters for the schools are ready to pony up and basically sign players to contracts, because that's what we have now. It is about the players getting signed to whatever the contract is. If they can link up to said car dealership, said restaurant, said car dealership, then that's what they will do if it means they get that 4 or 5-star recruit to come to their school. But here's a quote from Trevor Riley, and I'm just going to read this right off the phone and the computer. It says here, "You paid me $90,000 a year and let me handle special teams. I did all this work in your name and was told to pursue it. I burned through all my contacts in my Mormon community, which is worth about $3 trillion. Now I can't get these people to answer my calls because I just found out today that none of my endeavors will happen." So that's the part with the Mormon community, I guess. And this is coming from Trevor Riley, according to a article on Sports Illustrated. Now, that's one thing to go to the Mormons, and then you're going to the Saudis. We know what that could turn into in terms of, like, how do you feel about it? Do you feel it's wrong for them to go to the Saudis? The Saudis haven't been looked at in a good light, going back to some of their human rights deficiencies, if we want to call it that. But it's not like it's not like it's one of those things that isn't frowned upon by the majority of the American public. Now, mind you, there has been a lot of transactions of people going to Saudi Arabia and going for the big money contracts. We all know the story with Live Golf. We all know some of the soccer players like Cristiano Ronaldo, I can't speak today, going over there and signing a deal to play with the soccer clubs, one of the soccer clubs over there. But now with NIL, potentially this being an NIL crutch, this is huge, because there's no telling where that money is coming from. So if that is happening to where teams are outsourcing, maybe not so much coming from what the boosters and what their school can offer, but going to outsource to try to cover that gap, this speaks to what the NIL world is. Now, you heard Patrick and me talk about it over the course of the months when NIL was starting to come to fruition. It's wild, wild west, and the money can be coming from anywhere. So I say that to drive this point home. There is no telling where the sources of money is coming from, but it really doesn't matter as long as there's money in the pot. And it's probably a mild miracle a story like this didn't come to the fruition earlier than it has now. So I it's one of those things that, I mean, it's going to continue like this. The pots are going to get bigger. And if teams feel they're at a competitive disadvantage, then they're going to do what they feel is right. Now, Colorado has kind of distanced themselves from this. They really haven't said too much in regards to what was said by Trevor Riley. But silence is deafening. So I would not be surprised if that is what happened. But if you're Colorado, it's been a tumultuous offseason, and the main thing you're trying to do is make sure that you can get back onto the field and actually win some games. And if not, then I don't see Deion Sanders being there too much longer. I can see him going to another job. Maybe it's another college. Maybe it's an NFL job that might open up. Who knows? But yeah, the interesting times in Colorado, to say the least. Well, that is what I am breathing on for today. Y'all make sure y'all visit the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. So like I said earlier, Patrick and I, we will be coming to you with a college football preview show tomorrow night. And y'all know we are live every Tuesday evenings, and there are more announcements that are coming this week. So stay on the lookout for that. Until then, everybody take care and happy Monday.